Hey nerds, JJ Kai Morris here. Welcome back to my writing vlog. I've kind of not been doing a whole lot of updates on this channel. Sorry, I've been busy with 2 kids. But I've been really busy this year, so I thought I would do a 6-month update for 2026. So I've officially been writing for 6 years, or 6.5 years now, technically. And I've been working on a lot of stuff this year. Has been chock full of just work as far as writing goes. So let's do a little update. I went to a writing convention. I pitched some agents in person for the very first time. So let's talk about it. Also, I'm trying a new setup here. Hopefully the sound quality is good. Video quality I know is a lot better than my webcam. So trying a new setup here. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it is way better than it has been in previous videos. Anyway, let's get into it. So I should have brought my actual stats, but I have stats, of course, because stats are fun. I don't know. So this year I started. Did I start January? I think I started January. With diving right into a heavy revision for my middle grade horror series. And so I didn't know if I wanted to start with book 1, like what I saw as book 1, or what I saw as book 0 being like the prequel. So I did a quick developmental edit on both of those books, and then I gave them out to my close friends and family, my alpha readers, and had them give me their opinion on whether they thought I should start with the prequel or whether I should start to try Query book 1 in the series. And they all pretty much resoundingly said I should start with book 1 because the prequel did feel very much prequel-y, if that makes any sense. Anyway, so I was like, okay, cool. Let's get into revisions. So the draft that I gave my alpha readers was, I believe, draft 2. Did lots and lots of drafts, lots of revisions. Luckily, it was a shorter, it was a middle grade novel, so it was, I think the first draft ended at 41 or 42,000 words, which is very short, the shortest full-length novel that I have ever written. Very proud of myself because I tend to overwrite, so I was like, yes, I got the word count on with, industry standards for middle grade, so I was very excited. And I was like, great, shorter project because, my only other real full-length novel that I have seen from first draft to final completion has been my only my fantasy novel, which was, I think it ended at 113,000 words, which is obviously more than double what this project was. So I was excited that it was a shorter project and you could feel a lot more progress very quickly with it being a lot shorter because I forget what draft I had. I got it to before I gave it to my beta readers, but I did my whole print it out in a different font, in a different size, physical copy to go through with my red pen edits to find all the typos and errors and all that fun stuff. And I did find a lot, and then I also found sentence things that I wanted to tweak, yada yada. So I did that. I was like, okay, cool. I got my big red pen edit, my down to the nitty gritty edit done. I'm feeling really good about this draft. Then I went and found my beta readers. Oh my god, my beta readers found so many typos. It's really quite embarrassing. The quantity of typos that I have in my drafts. It's sorry, my cat is distracting me. She's not supposed to be up here, but whatever. Anyway. So yeah, I learned that I am the queen of typos, especially connecting words that are just left out, because I don't know, especially with something you write yourself, you just read the sentence as it's in your head, and you just fill in the connecting words, the tos and the ands and the, you know what I mean, the a's and the froms and the thes, and I just don't catch them. So there's a lot of that. Also a lot of mistakes here and there as far as typos go. But one big thing that I learned about finding beta readers was, okay, so last time I was on the search for beta readers, it was 2021, I want to say. Oh my god, so long ago. And so I have not had a need to look for beta readers for my projects in a very long time. And back then I found my beta readers on Twitter. Twitter is not Twitter anymore, it's X or whatever. I don't even know if it's still like a big hub for writers. I don't know. I don't keep up with a lot of the like social media, the technology. I just don't. So I was like, I don't think Twitter's where I'm going to be able to find my beta readers this time. And so I have had past luck in the past finding ARC readers through Facebook groups. But again, this was 2023. So I was like, I don't know. I just thought that things would be the same. Things are not the same. So this way that the whole internet shifts and changes within like a year or two is crazy. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll just put it out on my I'll join some Facebook groups to do with beta reading and Facebook groups to do with writers and stuff, and I'll just make a post and then I'll see if who I get from there. Big mistake. Do not go to Facebook groups. I mean, you can, but like I feel like Facebook groups should be like a last resort to look for beta readers because first of all, the amount of spam that you get is just insane. So much spam. Like I'm still getting emails from people who like I appreciate the hustle. I understand that you are, part of you have your business, you want to be able to make money doing beta reading or ARC reading. Like that's great. Power to you if you want to do that, and I'm sure that there are plenty of people who are willing to pay you for that service. That's not what I was looking for. I was looking for other writers to exchange work with, and that would, the payment would be me reading your draft and you reading my draft and giving feedback on it, which is, I guess, not it's something you have to specify when you make your post. Also, AI, since my last round of, working with beta readers, AI has become a thing. And it was not even a thought in my mind when I was making these posts looking for beta readers to say that I don't want AI feedback. I got a lot of AI feedback. And luckily, it's pretty obvious to tell when it's AI feedback, because especially number one, the quickness of the response is huge. It's like, there's no way I just sent you this and like an hour later you have this detailed of a response for me. No way. Also, it just, I don't know. You can tell. And I don't know, people wanting money for it in exchange. Like, I'm not going to give you money for throwing something into an AI chatbot. You know what I mean? Like, again, I respect the hustle. People got to make money, and that's a strategy. But that is not what I was looking for, and I feel so dumb because I was like, of course people are going to put it in AI. Like, I don't know why that didn't cross my mind before, because AI is such a big thing now. So I was like, okay, let's start over. I found no one from Facebook groups, no people who were willing to exchange work and do it for free. Everyone wanted payment, and or I got free feedback, but it was AI feedback. So I was like, scratch this. Facebook groups is not the place to find beta readers. So luckily I had a friend who was suggested that I go on Reddit to look for my beta readers. And I have a love-hate relationship with Reddit. I use Reddit a lot, especially for like the research for my videos that I do with my other channel, talking about the stories that go behind rock and metal concept albums. So I use Reddit a lot, but Reddit is so toxic. The people who post on Reddit can be so toxic. I don't know. Reddit is a great tool and a great place to find information and other people within a specific niche community on the internet. But people on Reddit can be extremely toxic. So I was like, I don't want to go on Reddit. I don't want to wade through all the egos and the, keyboard warriors and trolls or whatever you're calling them these days. But I'm glad I did, because Reddit has a fantastic way to find other people who are looking for beta. Like, I don't know how it works, but I don't know how to explain this the best, but you join a couple like beta reading subreddits, and then from there you can find people who write within your same genre and have projects within your same word count, which is fantastic, because of course you don't want to wasn't wanting to exchange my 40,000 word horror novel with a 200,000 word epic fantasy novel. Like, that's just so much more work on my end. So I was able to find, was it four beta readers that I exchanged work with on Reddit. and they all wrote middle grade and were writing horror, so it was all, the same genre and roughly the same word count, which was extremely helpful. So I've learned for now anyway. I mean, of course, the internet shifts and changes so much, but Pika, stop it. Ugh. This is my cat. I'm a crazy cat lady recently. But of course, the internet changes and shifts so much that I don't know if Reddit is still going to continue being a good place to find beta readers. But for now, it was very helpful for me. I really seriously don't know where I would have found my beta readers without having to pay them. I'm sure I could have found them. It's just the amount of time that it would take to like go through different social media platforms or make posts on Twitter or X or whatever, and I don't know, just wade through them is so time consuming, time that I really just don't have, or time that would be better spent writing and editing, etc. But yeah, I've learned always state that you do not want AI feedback, because even, you never know. I mean, it is possible, of course, that I could have also received AI feedback from the people that I exchange work with, but it's less likely, and it didn't stick. The responses that I got didn't seem like AI to me. Anyway, so that is a huge thing I learned. Also, the huge thing I learned was that, I don't know, my beta readers pointed out, so I had really great beta readers this round. It was I got some fantastic feedback, and they pointed out so many things where it's like, I thought I was like this close to being like at my final draft for the book, and then after my beta feedback, I realized I was like really far away from being at my final draft for the project. So yeah, that was very eye-opening. Beta reading is so important, or getting beta feedback is so important. And I really think it is important that you get feedback from strangers, people who don't owe you anything, or who don't feel bad about giving you their true and honest feedback. Because I had friends give me feedback, and that's great too, but I also, there's also the fear that like, oh, are they just being nice, or they maybe understand my brain a little bit more than a stranger would, so maybe they get my work, whereas like strangers, people who don't know me, might not get it because it's not coming across well enough, etc., if that makes any sense. Anyway, so there's that. It was a big I don't know, rush to try and get my draft done before my writing convention, which was at the end of May. Was it at the end of May? Yeah, it was at the end of May. I got it done, but it was a lot of work. Especially, I am very fortunate to have a friend and writing partner who is now also an editor as well, and she gave some really great feedback for me as well. So that was good. Got it done in time, and the draft that I was like my final draft. Nothing's ever final until it's like in print, but my final draft was draft 11. So I went through 11 drafts before I was happy with the manuscript. One thing that I really struggled with this project was figuring out the right age group, because I had written the whole thing, and my thought was that this is a middle grade book. And then I was getting feedback from my beta readers, and they're like, this doesn't feel middle grade, this feels young adult to me. So I had to really try and, I don't know, try and distance myself from the project a little bit and really look at it in a more constructive way and be like, is this actually a young adult novel? Which I still feel like it has a lot of middle grade potential intentions, but at its core, I think as a series, I was looking more so as a series, it's a young adult series, because I wanted to age the characters 1 year in between each book, which if they started out as 12, they'd be, like 18 by the end of the series. So if I were to write the whole series, that is. And so I was like, well, it makes more strategic business marketing sense to keep a series within one age group rather than have to try and transition it from middle grade into young adult, which I feel like is a difficult thing to do. Of course, it's been done, but I think it's not industry standard. Anyway, so I ended up changing it to a lower young adult with middle grade crossover appeal, which is what I wrote in my query letter. And then I went to the conference, and I pitched to 4 agents there. And it was so funny. The responses that I got were so varied. I talked to one agent who thought that I should age the characters up a little bit more, maybe to 14, because I started originally wrote the characters at 12 in this book, and then in my revisions, I aged them up to 13. And so I had one agent tell me that she thought maybe if I could age them up to 14 and have it more so within the young adult realm, because lower young adult is not really a thing, and 13-year-old characters are a really hard sell because readers tend to read up rather than read down. And so 13 is just this kind of like no man's land of like difficult to find who your readership is exactly. So she suggested that I age them up, or that can you stop? You're just distracting. Go. And then I talked to another agent who suggested that it be put more so in the middle grade genre. So I don't know. It's really confusing. And I did get to talk to them and ask some questions about the industry and a series that go that kind of transcend age group, starting maybe with the characters at age 12 and then ending them at age 18 or whatever. And one agent said, yes, that's done. You can do it. I have a client who is doing something similar to that. It's not a problem. And then I talked to another agent who said, no, it's not really done. I would not suggest that you do that. That is a hard sell. So I think it really depends on like the agent's experience, and what they're comfortable selling, and like their specific expertise within a certain age group or genre. So I don't know. I love the conference being more like, well, now I'm more confused as to what I should do with this book. If I should keep trying to query it as a young adult novel, maybe even age the kids up one more year, or if I should go back and revert them back to 12 and make it a middle grade novel. I don't know. So I think I need to talk to more people, more agents. So anyway, of the 4 agents that I queried, one passed, one deferred me to another agent within her agency who does more of the horror stuff. Another agent asked for a partial manuscript request, and another agent asked for a full manuscript request. So I sent out queries to 3 agents after the conference. I already got rejection from one who asked for my full manuscript. I have not heard back from the other 2, but I think that's one of those things where it's like you don't hear back, it means that you're not interested. So it was a good experience, and I feel a lot more comfortable with in-person pitching, and it's a lot more personal. I don't know. I feel like you can really convey your story a lot better in person, even if you're kind of stumbling over your words and like shaking with nerves. Anyway, I don't know. There's just a personal touch to it, and then you have the opportunity to ask the agent questions, and they have the opportunity to ask you questions about the story, about your plans for it, if it's going to be a series, themes that you explore, etc. So the back and forth, I think, is really critical as far as like gaining the agent's interest in the project. So that was fun. I do plan to do a bunch of more. Well, I don't know if in-person is the right word. It's online pitching to agents through like Zoom calls at this one event online event that I'll be attending at the end of July, and I'll be pitching this middle grade / young adult horror novel. Anyway, so there's that spiel. One thing I will mention about like the stats on this is so funny. So I keep track of like my hours spent on each project, yada yada. When I wrote the first draft, I think I spent about 45 hours writing the first draft, and revisions in total took me about 150 hours. So when I think I'm like 80% of the way there, no, I'm like a third of the way there with the first draft. If things go roughly with the same timetable and amount of work for this project as in the future. So that was an interesting stat that I found. So yeah, that's my experience. The writing conference is good. I made a friend. I was able to talk to a lot of people, meet some really cool and interesting people. So that's always fun. Not that I have a lot of time to keep up with correspondence from a bunch of people, because I feel bad. I have my current friends and writing friends. I get back to them when I can, which is like once a month sometimes, maybe not even that. So, but it's good to make connections. And really excited to attend that online pitching event in July and hopefully pitch a bunch of agents. It's kind of expensive, but hopefully we'll be able to pitch a whole bunch of them and maybe get some more manuscripts sent out, maybe get some interest in, from some agents. I don't know. I would love to acquire an agent, if nothing, like even if my book doesn't get sold, if nothing else, just to be able to have someone to ask questions to talk about the industry with, because I don't know, there's just so many things I would like to know, or like questions that pop up, like, oh, like, would this be a smart business move to write a story like this, or this is a very niche genre, like, is there a lot of, market, is this marketable, you know what I mean, or is it something that would be better suited as like a self-published novel or project, you know what I mean? So it's just, there's so many questions that I would love to have an agent there available to talk to, and who would be interested in, my other projects, even if I don't sell this current project that I just finished. So looking forward to that. I also just booked, or I guess I should say my husband booked me another writing conference at the end of August. It's this Killer in Asheville conference, which I had been meaning to go to for years. And I was actually supposed to go to in 2023, but then I had my daughter, and I was like, I got a newborn, and can't go to a 4-day writing conference when you have a newborn. So I'm excited to go this year. The conference is mostly centered around like mystery, suspense, horror, crime type of novels, and writers and agents and editors, etc. So for that conference, I will also be pitching my Liar's Coven, my middle grade / young adult novel that I've been trying to query these past couple months. But also I am head first into my next project that I really hope I'll be able to get done in time for that conference, in time to pitch it at that conference. But it's kind of funny. It's my Christmas romantic suspense novel that I wrote last year. Was it last year? Yeah, last year. And I wrote it just sort of as like a sentimental gift to my husband, and I gave it to him for Valentine's Day, even though it's a Christmas novel. I probably should have waited and given it to him on Christmas, but it was just something that I was having insomnia, and I wrote it because the story wouldn't leave me alone, so I just wrote it down. But then my sister ended up reading it a couple months ago, and she told me that it was the best thing that I have ever written. And I was shocked. I was like, really? Like, I didn't really think it had much of like an appeal for anyone outside my husband and I. And she was like, no, this is great. You have to revise this and edit it down and make it something that you try and sell. And I was like, okay, because I was like kind of trying to figure out what my next project was going to be after my middle grade / young adult horror novel. Once I finished that, I was like, what project do I work on next? Because I have 100 different projects, and I told myself no new projects for this year. I'm only going to be editing and revising old projects because I have way too many first drafts and not enough final drafts. So I was like, well, what's my next project going to be? And so I decided it was going to be this Christmas suspense romantic thriller. And I am just over halfway through the developmental edits, and it is a lot of edits. I don't know if I have ever revised a draft this heavily, because the original draft was, the characters were very reminiscent of my husband and I. The scenes in it were very sentimental and just, kind of for us type of thing, and it didn't really, a lot of the scenes didn't really move the story along. But it does have a good mystery in it, which I think is what my sister really liked about it. It's kind of like a whodunit type of thing. So revisions, I completely revamped the characters. I axed a lot of the scenes and rewrote a whole bunch, or am currently rewriting a whole bunch. I'm trying to deepen the mystery, make the characters more vibrant, more interesting, and less like my husband and I. And I think I'm very hopeful for it. It's turning out very well so far, and I think it could be really good, potentially. But we'll see. I don't know. Again, the first draft of this novel was 110,000 words, I want to say. I need to edit it down to hopefully around 90,000 words for industry standard. And so, yeah, it's a lot of revision. The story added, like, the bones of it are still the same, but pretty much everything, all the circumstances changed. So yeah, it's a lot of work, but I'm really excited about it, and I don't know, we'll see where it goes. I'll keep you guys updated on if I'm able to finish it in time for the conference, if I'm able to pitch it to agents at the conference, and yeah, just what becomes of it. But currently I'm just like, I did the math. I was like, okay, this novel revision takes me the same amount of time per word count as my last project. Like, there's there's not enough hours for me to finish it. But I don't know, maybe it won't take that long. I don't know, we'll see. Or maybe I might just have to do a couple of like writing retreats to get it done, where I just sit there and do nothing but write. Anyway, that is my 6-month update for 2026. And yeah, looking forward to where the rest of the year will take me. It would be huge if I was able to get an agent by the end of the year. I would love that. But I don't know, realistically, again, I always try to look at it as a marathon. I'm in this for the long haul. And right now I have young children, so it's like the amount of time that I'm actually able to spend on writing is very limited. So I don't know, I'm okay with not being successful in my career just yet. Maybe creating a huge backlog of projects that I think are worthy of publication is sort of I don't know, a strategic move for the long run. And maybe in a year from now or something, my next project, I do also want to pursue web novels, and I do want to pursue indie publishing as well. So just kind of trying to, I don't know, get a good backlog of work, so that when I do acquire an agent, if they're like, hey, I really like this project, if the project goes all the way to, let's say, acquisitions and fails there, then it's like, okay, well, on to the next. I have this one ready for you to look at, and we can, talk about it and possibly try and get that sold, instead of just being like, well, that's the only thing I have. That's the only one project I have for you. You're going to have to wait for me to write something else that you might think is worthy of publication. So I don't know. It's good to just, I think, have multiple projects that you're able to hand over in case the one that you're trying to currently sell fails. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments if you're a writer, if you're doing things, what your year has looked like so far. And yeah, any tips and suggestions, I'm always open to. Drop all of that down in the comments, or just say hello. Thank you all for watching, and make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to join me on my writing journey. And don't forget to join my writing community. Link is down in the description. It's totally free, and from there you access to bonus videos and a monthly newsletter from me. And again, it's totally free. So check that out, and I'll see you nerds next time.